Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, April 6th. We are on the European account, although oddly, I just need to play 50 Paladin cards, so I must have done something extra. I mean, it should be late enough that I would have gotten a second daily quest by now. So I don't know, I guess if it isn't, it isn't. We started a little bit early. So it's at like 3:30 Central Time in the United States. These are card packs we got from the post show last time. A lot of card packs. I know there was a lot of time wasted. Same is true now. Certainly, where we spent a lot of time on the Asian account and we still didn't get everything done today. We've seen 3 epics appear, but no legendaries, which isn't super surprising. So just Paladin cards, this will be easy. This will move us kind of nicely into moving on to the America's account. A account most people probably care about more than anything else. Let's see what new cards we got. We got a new one of those. New one of those. New one of those. Yeah. Anybody that joins in a week for the new expansion into Hearthstone are going to be really punished for having missed this previous week. It's going to be a big letdown when they see other people have here we go, Paladin cards. Well, if it's labeled Paladin cards, I bet it's 30 Paladin cards. So that makes that easy enough. And I suppose we can play ranked while we're doing Paladin cards, because it's not gonna hurt. Like, we can't lose stars at that rank. I was talking about a game called Breaks Are for Losers, which looks like a remake of a game called Off-Road that was in the arcades a long time ago. I'm trying to look at the positive reviews to see if anybody is mentioning that, and nobody is. So interesting. Well, whatever. I still think Breaks Are for Losers seems like a good arcade top-down style racing game. Something you're not going to see a lot of. And for that reason alone, if that's something you would want to spend your time on for $10, might be a little bit expensive. Let's see. Is there any game on Steam that Steam recommends above this? No, because like Sonic and All-Stars Racing and things like that are going to be 3D racing games, and that's just a different experience. Like, sure, Trackmania games, and there's one called Thunder Wheels that's a little bit closer. Let's see what the reviews on Thunder Wheels are, because I might try a couple of them if I ever get around to buying these games. Like, Thunder Wheels is 83% positive too, and it looks very similar to Off-Road. It's early access, it says. Early access for $8.99. Yeah, I'm scrolling through. Steam's recommendations are so bad. Like, they just got nothing close. Like, you know how we all say that YouTube's recommendations are awful? Steam has them beat by far. Like, bad. This is an interesting story to start off with. So apparently, Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, usually in the sentence in which I talk about Randy Pitchford and say the CEO of Gearbox, the next sentence is almost always that he's done something stupid or ridiculous, or there's some bit of hate that I can put on him. Not that I really hate him or even care about him at all, but he posted something a little weird, but I think appropriate. What did I not? Oh, they were the ones in my hand. Apparently somebody's been going around and pretending like they've been contracted by Gearbox. This person is going by the name of Aaron Strausbaugh. That's AARONSTRAUSBAUGH. And they're claiming they're being contracted by Gearbox to contract models for Comic Cons. Comic Cons being listed here as 2 words, which it's not, and there's only like a couple of Comic Cons because that's kind of a copyrighted term. And then let's see. They want models to cosplay as Borderlands characters, which a lot of people do cosplay as Borderlands characters, and Randy Pitchford retweets a lot of people, and Gearbox retweets a lot of people that cosplay as that. And he says that Randy Pitchford will send welcome packets for the models. Please understand that as a model, I would like to know if this is true. So somebody emailed Gearbox to confirm whether this guy was really contracted, and the truth is no, he's not. Now I don't know what the rest of the story is. Let's see. There's a complaint that was also retweeted on the complaint. Let's see. What am I supposed to take from this article? I'm trying to read this complaint. Oh. Apparently it's Aaron Aubrey Strasberg. The complaint says person is very unprofessional and doesn't like to be told no. And then he went on somebody's website. He posted a complaint on me on this website. Let's see. Wow, this is a long complaint. Well, it seems like he just has a bad reputation and anger issues and doesn't like to be told no. He seems like he's also unethically claiming things that are untrue. Let's see. Apparently, if you Google his name, you can find out a lot more about him. So apparently he's kind of known of. It's like, okay, so like mostly I think he'd be better off not doing any work with Aaron Aubrey Strasberg. The main thing here is the things that can be confirmed are he is definitely not contracted by Gearbox, and he's claiming to be. I don't see a real reason why Gearbox would ever pay any models to dress up as Borderlands characters, since so many people do it for free anyways, unless they were Gearbox directly contacted you and wanted you front and center on stage when they announce Borderlands 3. That would be the only instance I think they would pay anybody, is just to make sure they have a professional cosplayer with some kind of reputation on stage versus random strangers who might like embarrass themselves on stage. Yeah. And weird story. Be careful out there if you cosplay. I don't think there's a lot of weirdness in cosplaying too. It really is just a hobby in my mind. I don't think you can make a career out of it. And if you are gonna make a career out of it, you're gonna do it by selling photo shoots on your own website and going to a lot of competitions and trying to win competitions. There was this short-lived sci-fi series, SYFY TV channel series called Heroes of Cosplay that kind of showed the ins and outs and the sometimes ugliness of going to conventions and competitions with all of that. There's not a lot of people that are going to succeed as a professional cosplayer. You could be a professional model, though. Certainly, it's like I cosplay every now and then, but I'm also a model who models regular clothing if you have the right body type that they want. But you probably are going to have to be rather young to enter that field, too. And there's a lot of people that could be models, certainly, that don't want to put up with the frustration and the problems with being a model. So yeah, I'd say just enjoy your cosplay and just do it. If you're gonna have somebody take pictures of you, you're probably gonna be paying the photographer or having a friend take photos for you for free, not the other way around. If somebody wants to pay you money so they can take pictures of you, that's pornography, almost certainly. Yeah, that's what it's going to boil down to. Not that there's anything wrong with that, to quote Seinfeld. Like, if you want to be in a porno, be in a porno, get paid. But understand that that's what you're doing, and that's what you will be doing if somebody's trying to pay money for you to be a model, particularly in cosplay. Moving on, the Fate Extella Link opening movie is out, according to Gematsu. Let's see if there's anything here. It's a 2-minute opening movie that looks like Fate Extella is a PS4, PS Vita Warriors style game where you're just going to be doing beat 'em up attacks. I tried to watch Fate Stay Apocrypha, which is, best I can tell, one of the worst of the Fate Stay animes. There's been a lot of them, and did not enjoy that. But then I started to watch a different one and a different Fate Stay, and I got through one episode, and it seemed like that one was a little bit better. They all are built around, I think, doing the same thing over and over again and having the same characters fight it out. And so it's almost like comic book what if stories of what if this person was the hero of the story, so they're gonna win the fight, or what if this person was the hero of the story, so they're gonna fight. At least that was the experience I got between watching those two different Fate Stay series. There's too many of them, and you probably need a reading guide to figure out the order or the right ones to look at. I'm not sure how much news I really have, honestly. Next game we have on Steam is called Sacred Stones. I wonder if anybody ever would consider following along while I'm typing in these names. That's what I do, or was doing for a while on the Co-Optional podcast, is just typing in every single game they were talking about so I could see what they were doing. But I guess you could just watch the video version of that and get nearly the same instant case. Although typing it in yourself then allows you to wishlist it into your own account, where if you're just looking at video of somebody else looking at the Steam page, you can't do that. Let's see, Sacred Stone has one review, came out April 5th. It's from a company that hasn't made anything else. It's 15% off for $10.19. What kind of game is it? Well, the art looks like it might be 16-bit type retro things, but it seems like a little bit more intentional and not from a lack of skill. The interactivity, the jumping and platforming, that it seems like this is mostly a jumping platforming game. See, you get this season chest even if you don't win, to taunt you basically. Yeah, this looks like a Super Meat Boy game that might be interesting. It's had an all-time peak of 3 people. It's early access. It's just way too expensive. It has like 1 recommended thing. 2 recommended. Like, if it wasn't such an expensive game, I might be willing to wishlist Sacred Stones. But coming out at $10 and just being ever so slightly below my level of quality as far as visual aesthetics, it's hard to agree with this. It seems like it's mostly a boss rush game too. It's selling itself as a mostly boss rush game, almost like a side scroller game, where it's a boss rush game where you have like a shield and 1 health too. There was this game I played where you only had 1 health and like then you died, and then you were trying to fight all these other bosses that had tons of health and you had to do patterns and you could shoot an arrow. I don't remember the name of that game though. I was rather surprised I got as far as I did in that game. I did everything except for beating the boss on screen, and then it took me several more hours after I just wrapped up the series beating the final boss, and to beat the final boss, and I was really surprised I was even going to do that. And then it wanted you to play a New Game Plus, which was even more difficult, I think, and I just had no desire to do that. Like, it was definitely game selling itself as being difficult, but it's kind of pointless talking about a game though that I can't remember the name of. A game I can talk about and tell you the name of is Crisis on the Planet of the Apes, and this is from a developer who hasn't made anything, but it is from Fox Next VR Studio, which Fox Next is part of Fox, like the TV channel, and what they're trying to do is use some of their properties to make VR games. Let's go ahead and kill one of these. It seems really weird that you would have a Planet of the Apes game come out when I don't believe there's any Planet of the Apes movies that are out anytime. This says it's 5 years since the outbreak. The simian flu has wiped out half of humanity. You're an ape with advanced intelligence captured and held prisoner on a remote scientific facility. Climb, jump, and shoot through the chaos of an apocalyptic world to escape with your fellow apes and return home. So you're playing as the ape, which I think is probably not the right... Like, that's some of the kind of what they were trying to do with the reboot of the Planet of the Apes, but that was not the intention of the first movie. It was to directly empathize with the people you knew were gonna take over the planet eventually. You have to accept their third-party EULA. It's rated M for mature. I'm willing to believe it is. It requires the HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift, and it's 33% off for $10.04. I'm like, and let's see. 13 positive reviews, 5 negative reviews. Let's see. Not recommended for one person. Movement option is terrible and gunplay is awkward. This is a straight PS VR port and it shows. So was this on PlayStation VR when the movie came out? Maybe that's it. Which is unfortunate because the game had a great presentation. It's very intimidating when you get shouted at by lifelike guards in VR. I would honestly prefer this experience without the awful moving and shouting if it just had a theater-like mode where you just watch everything happen around you without the immersion getting ruined by the movement and shooting. Interesting. Well, I guess we now know why this is on sale right now, as it's been ported over. Let's see. See. Weird. Weird negative review here that ends, "Praise Jesus who is my Lord and Savior." It's like the full review is, "I want to say that with the option in VR now, it's really awesome, period. Praise Jesus who is my Lord and Savior." That's an odd negative review. It says, next negative review is, "No free movement, somewhat fun movement at times, climbing and swinging, but locked into a linear script on the ground. Also hard to move or switch positions quickly on the ground. I also keep getting warnings my head was inside one object to another. Really wanted to like this one too." Yeah, I don't think for the price tag of $10.04 you would want to buy a movie tie-in game. It seems like that would be pretty crazy. Like these companies that are making movie tie-in VR experiences are just trying to bring a lost audience of moviegoers back into the theaters, and it's just not going to happen. Like, I would never play a video game and think, "Oh yeah, that video game is so great, I want to go see a movie about it." Like, if they told me that there was a Borderlands movie coming out in theaters, and I love Borderlands, I don't think I'd still, even then, go in theaters and see it. I might catch it on Netflix, I might catch it on TV, but I don't think I'm gonna pay the money to see it in theaters. There is a Bayonetta anime. I didn't watch that in theaters if it had come out in theaters, which it didn't, I'm sure. Next game we have is called Band of Defenders. It's mostly positive, 70% of 75 reviews. It's from, let's see, a developer who's made a handful of other games. It's 30% off for $9.79. Seems like when the games are good, they do seem to always come with that caveat of being at least $10, which always seems like it's a little too high. Let's see. I'm looking at the trailer for Band of Defenders. It looks like it might be something interesting, but it might not. Seems like it's kind of got that Bulletstorm, Duke Nukem Forever attitude. This whole trailer though is just pre-rendered animation, I'm pretty sure. I need to see some actual gameplay here. It's a terrible name, Band of Defenders. Remember, right now all we need to do is play Paladin cards, so I'm at my lowest of attention span I could possibly be while still actually playing the game. Alright, now at the very end I'm starting to see some games. Yeah, this looks kind of like a Borderlands game if Borderlands was just a horde mode and a tower defense. It also has the tower defense ability built into it. So yeah, it's like lots and lots of people running towards you. Seems like a decent variety of weapons, but probably not anything as crazy as Borderlands would have. It's had an all-time peak of 240 people, so somebody's playing it. Like, let's look at the negative reviews. 22. Let's see. Here's a negative review. It's nice and short. +1, 2. Like, finally, after an hour after buying the game, I decided to get in. I get into one match playthrough, all the waves, even killed the boss with a pistol, only to have it crash at the lobby. Can't get back to game. Not even sure if I got anything after all that BS. What a warm welcome. Game doesn't work. Database errors when launched. Friend and I bought it at the same time. He is receiving that error too. Interesting. Let's see. I was looking forward to play this game with my friend before we had to go to work the next day, but it looks like I'm stucking just playing it. Yeah. Let's see. So a lot of negative reviews of just database errors and things. What's weird is this game looks good. This looks like a AAA game, but it's not from a AAA developer, and that's the problem. And it's got just, it doesn't have that AAA listing of somebody in an advertising department actually knew what they were doing and actually found a good name for it. So yeah, I can't recommend, and I'm not going to wishlist Band of Defenders. Mostly because I think it's going to be more of an online co-op than anything else. It's just like not good enough. It's that mushy middle. It's like if this was a small independent game, I might consider it if it was cheaper, but no. Gamasutra has an article, according to Steam Spy, $20 and $60 were the top earners on Steam game prices, which I guess, I mean, you're getting into some real weirdness there because of the way things would have to play that. Like, a 99-cent game certainly could not be the top earner on Steam, because you would require 60 times as many people on Steam buying the 99-cent games than people, say, buying like PUBG. A $20 game probably could make that much money, however, because it only requires 3 times the number of people to buy above the average $60 game. And there could be certainly reasons for that. Let's see, the quote here is, people are still mostly buying relatively expensive and quality titles. So the way the chart goes is 99 cents, then $1.99, then $2.99, then $3.99, and $4.90. Of 100% of the earners, it seems like barely 4 or 5% or of the profit went to people at $4.99 or below, which sort of makes sense. And then there is a large jump from 2.11% for how much of profit went to people, games that are $4.99 or around $4.99, to, I believe that's 9.63% for games that were $9.99. So 3 or 4 times as much profit when you get to a $10 game than if you're a $5 game. So that certainly might explain why there's a lot of $10.99 games out there. Just because it's perceived like your game, if it's a $10 game and it deserves to sell at all. The thing this chart's not telling you is just how many games were priced at $10.99 and didn't get any sales at all. Because I bet there's a considerable amount that don't. It's only a small jump to about 11.71% of the profit went to games that were rated $14.99. That kind of makes sense. You might as well go to $19.99 or stay below $10. If you get to $19.99, you're getting about 16.8% of the profit. But the sweet spot, according to this chart, clearly is $29.99, which has about, is that 28.56%? I'm having to read the screen image from very far away, so I could be off by a few numbers. So nearly a quarter of all the profit is going to the $29.99 mark, and then there's a large drop off if you go to $39.99, where you're only getting about 9.98% of the profit, and then even a bigger drop off if you're $49.99, of 5.44%, and then you get to nearly as high of a profit as the $19.99 games, but just slightly below, of about 18.96% for $59.99. So what you would take from this, if you're to take anything, is clearly don't be in the mushy middle at all. If you're going to sell your game for $5, that's fine. If you're not going to sell your game for $5, then sell it for $10. Well, don't even bother selling it for $10. Don't go. If you can't justify selling your game for $5, you should probably justify selling it for $29. And so you've got to get really good at making a game. And if you can't justify selling your game at $29, then you have to, at that point, sell for $60. There's a lot of DLC and like season pass garbage in this too, certainly. Certainly. Definitely don't be in the mushy middle. Definitely don't sell for $49.99 or $39.99. That's just going to be better. You would be better off losing $10 according to this chart and selling for $29.99 than you would be selling for $39.99. There's clearly a mental barrier in the shoppers that they only slightly get over to pay $60. Steam sales probably affect a lot of this too. The numbers are slightly different if you take out PUBG, because PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds shifted a lot. If you take out PUBG, which pushed games at the $19.99 level, at the $29.99 level up, it looks much more like a tentpole price of $19.99. So if you are going to make the argument that PUBG was a fluke, and it certainly was as far as its pricing, you're better at $19.99 than you are $29.99, and $60 is a way better earner. But I think you kind of have to assume that it's very possible PUBG has pushed the price up. So games that were $19.99 before may be $29.99 going forward. That's a lot of number talk though. There's not much else to say though, so that's good. And hey, look at that. We managed to get all the quests done, or it seems like we managed to get all the quests done, so we can just switch over to the Americas account. Somebody was spectating me. I assume they had a watch and learn. So switch over to the Americas account. Come on, come on, launch. Let's see. PC Gamer has an article, "Violence is your last resort in the stealth roguelike game Basingstoke, Basingstoke, which, let's watch this and see what this is. Alright. Look at the text all messed up. We trade this one out. Win 3 games any class. Win 5 games with Rogue or Warrior. Win 7 games. So Rogue or Warrior is what we need to be doing. We've got quite a few things that we opened in the post-show. We earned in the post-show. We still got news, so no guarantee that we're doing a post-show today. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. Hey, 2 epics and a legendary. Ooh, this is by far the best card I've ever opened. Card pack I've ever opened. So we have a common. Will they be any of them gold? It's the same card. Interesting. I could really do with a legendary in the classic pack though, but I'll not turn down any epics or legendaries. Let's see. So 222 because we have 1 extra epic and 4 extra rares and 8. So that'll put me halfway towards a legendary, which I should purchase legendaries for the classic pack. It'll be a lot easier to get the last few legendaries in classic than it would be to buy 400 card packs and just get a bunch of dust. And I don't think dust is really worth it. Maybe my calculations are a little bit off, but like if I had 10,000 dust and then I tried on the new expansion to, I'll go ahead and disenchant this for dust because I don't care about gold. Let's see. So if we click here on the classic and then we type in missing, then we can see what we're missing. And we've got one here and one here we could craft with dust. One legendary here, 2 legendaries here, another epic, and then 4 or 6 legendaries here. So I would need 8 times 50, which would be 400 card packs of classic packs to guarantee I have all of these. And then theoretically, any card packs past the point in which I have all the cards, I would start getting gold versions of cards, of legendaries, which, I mean, that would be a lot of dust, but it doesn't make the most sense. If I look at all cards that I could craft that are missing, there's a ton of these. So maybe when I open cards, I should use dust to increase the odds. Like, just craft all the common cards to start with. Nah, that's really not going to save you any time. It's going to be a foolish errand. There's a ton of epics. There's a ton of rares. I probably do have nearly every common in the game. Like, if there was a single common that was missing, I would be surprised. I could also check that. Just 50 pages nearly right now of missing cards. So missing common. Like this one. This is the only common we had. And the reason why we had this like this is because I disenchanted it when it changed and got 40 dust. And whenever I open a Knights of the Frozen Throne pack, I was assuming I would get it kind of quickly and easily. And then missing rares. How many pages do we have on that? These each cost 100 to create, so I could make 9 missing rares, which I have 11 pages of that. More classic particular cards that only work for particular people. It's not a terrible thought. And of course, if I start getting the epics, I only have enough dust to make 1 epic. Alright, let's get back to gameplay though. Point here was to win with a rogue or warrior. How can we win with a rogue or warrior without somebody really screwing me over? Let's see. Here, let's just try this warrior deck, and then we'll try the combo deck and move on forward. So this game, Basingstoke, is a top-down. It says it's an action adventure. It's tagged as that. It's a top-down strategy game. It doesn't look that interesting. Every single screenshot is dark, which is a problem, certainly. I don't understand why it says violence is only as a last resort. Probably because you're going to be playing as a very weak character, would be the best I could guess. Yeah, there's really nothing in this game, Basingstoke, that catches my attention. I imagine it's just a PC gamer advertisement in the form of a conversation. Treasure Master says, "Woohoo! Screenshot it. Good game. Pack that one." And the Treasure Master says, "Thalnos is an awesome card for the draw." Yep, I should have screenshotted it. I didn't think to do that, unfortunately. Like, we're gonna be opening a lot of card packs, so I guess when the next expansion comes, I should make sure to screenshot it. We're really getting down to the point where maybe I should just make hour-long, like hour-long episodes instead of 45-minute episodes. Like I've never been consistent about making hour-long episodes in the first place, or 45-minute episodes, but I'm making 4 or 5 episodes every 2 days or 2 or 3 days. Let's see. PC Gamer has a game called well, no, it's not called Retro Platformer. It is a retro platformer called Time Spinner that is on Kickstarter. It's a mix of Mega Man and Castlevania straight out of the 90s, according to the subtitle. Let's watch the trailer. It starts with the screen slowly fading down from the stars, so it's not. So I skipped that part. So it's got that 16-bit pixel animation. Apparently 2 girls were trying to use a time machine to escape, and one of them got shot as they were trying to escape. It seems like you're going to have time pausing abilities while playing something like Rogue Legacy, which, you know, Rogue Legacy really is just Castlevania. Seems like you're going to have a nice assortment of weapons and enemies to use those weapons on. Yeah, there's not anything horrible about this game. It seems like it knows what it wants to be, and it's doing a decent job to actually look like what it should be. Oh. And in this art style, I think I can see a little bit of skill in the 16-bit, where they really know how to animate and draw things and make things important. It says the campaign has raised $176,667, over triple its 50,000 goal. Let's see. It seems like it has a Steam page already that we could follow, but again, since like no release date, like just a promise of it's getting close to being finished, which is okay, I guess, to make that promise, but let's see, what does this one do? Can't attack heroes. Yeah, the quote is, it's getting close to being finished, but he still doesn't have, quote, a good idea when the final release will be. So just like another example of like, why in the world are you gonna bother with talking about a game, PC Gamer, when there's no release date? Like, you've got me hyped. I'm very interested. Now you've just teased me because I don't like nothing to take from that. Literally nothing to take from that. Let's just play this. Let's see. Next game we have on Steam is called Impossible Jumpy Quest, which probably isn't that much of a game from a name like that. See, it's from a developer who hasn't released anything else. It's 10% off for $8.99, which is too expensive. I'm still gonna say things are too expensive if they feel like they're too expensive. I don't care what articles try to argue or Steam database says is the truth. Like, I'd prefer to live in my perception of what's too expensive than somebody else's. Yeah, it seems so crazy. Like, I would prefer to talk about games that came out like Impossible Jumpy Quest, which seems just to be a mostly asset flip of a platformer experiment, where like this definitely seems like it's an asset flip. They say it's early access, but I don't think so. No reviews, of course. I would still prefer to talk about a stupid game that won't sell, that is probably an asset flip, and instead of talking about a game that just has no information to say. Let's see. Probably should win in the next recording, in the next turn. Alright, so apparently there's been some changes that are going to be implemented to Steam in the trading cards and badges part, stuff that we're not really too interested in. Most people aren't, but I do have a lot of Steam trading cards and badges just so I can have more friends. If it wasn't tied to the system of how many friends you can have, I wouldn't do it at all. So we've updated the badge showcase on the profile. When you select the badge showcase, you can now choose from 4 styles. Rarest badges, most recent. Selected badges are random. So I'll probably change how my badge showcase works. Like a lot of little announcements that got retweeted by Valve News Network, which, like, that's the one reason I follow him, is he's so deep and entangled in all the Valve stuff that he'll know things before anybody else. So there's been a trading update, new booster pack eligibility dialog you can find in the top right of your badge page. It will list games where you're currently eligible to receive booster packs. CSGO fix, we fixed an issue with some CSGO owners were not getting card drops for owning the game after last Thursday's update. And a new trade offer API for developers. There's a new set of web APIs available for working with trade offers, which that seems like that potentially might be abused later. And a lot of that may not really matter. Let's see. And introducing trade offers. I guess I should have read this article first. Today we've shipped a new feature we're calling Trade Offers that allows you to send a prepackaged trade to a friend. It's similar to regular trading, except that you propose the items for both sides. You select the item you're willing to give up from your inventory and what you'd like to receive from your friend and send it off. Your friend will receive a notification and green dialog dropped off. They can then choose to accept, decline, or make a counter offer. Unlike regular Steam trading, you don't need to both be online at the same time. Plus, trade offers can be sent and received with using a web browser, so seems like a slight improvement over what we were dealing with before. You can create an offer in a few places from the trade offers page in your inventory, from a friend's inventory, or from any of your badge pages. You can send a friend trade offer based on the trading cards you still need to collect. There's a couple of frequently asked questions. Who can send an offer? Currently, you can send trade offers to your friends, though we may expand this in the future. Note that trade offers respect inventory privacy settings, so if your friend has their inventory set to private, you cannot send them a trade offer. Alright. I shouldn't have played that. I definitely shouldn't have played that, but maybe this will work to my advantage later. Can I send more than one trade offer for the same item? Yes, you can send more than one offer containing the same item. When the offer is accepted, any other pending offers with the same item will expire. How long is a trade offer good? Trade offers automatically expire in 2 weeks. You can see the offer expiration date at the bottom of a pending offer. So if you're not interested in trading cards, you may find that rather annoying, because you may find a significant amount of trade offers popping up. Let's see, latest trading card releases: Joe Danger 2 the movie, Star Wolves 3 Civil War, Bleed, and Costume Quest, and Stacking. I have those games. So do I now have to go run Costume Quest and Stacking to get apparently to view all of the trading card games? They're managing a list, or you can view games in your region in the store. So a lot of people certainly get into trading cards. Let's go ahead and kill this guy and attack here. Let's see. Game Collector Badge XP updated. Hello everyone, we have a small update to the Game Collector Badge today. We've tweaked the XP values to be a little less confusing. Apparently, anyone with 100 games or more will have a little more XP now, which is nice. So that means I'm at a slightly higher level, which might level me up a little bit. Let's see. Latest trading card releases: Call of Juarez, Payday the Heist, It'll Do, Luminar Fight, Lemuria. What is... I have several of these games, so I'm gonna have to go back and look on my Steam account and see if I've really got this opportunity to get more Steam more badges for whatever that's worth. It's probably not worth too much, honestly. Let's see. All new games purchased as a gift and placed in the purchaser's inventory will be untradeable for 30 days. The gift may still be gifted at any time. The only change is trading. So if somebody, for instance, this is directly to stop people stealing credit card numbers and then and then gifting other accounts with games from those stolen credit cards numbers, and then trading those stolen games from stolen credit card numbers to other accounts, so that there's like a long chain of traded stolen things. We've made changes to the trading gifts, a better experience for those receiving gifts. We're hoping this lowers the number of people who trade games only to have the game revoked later due to issues with the purchaser's payment method. So even they're coming out and saying that's directly the case. We don't get a lot of Steam updates, so like take this. And attack here. And attack here. And armor up. And then the turn. PC Gamer has an article called Apocalypse Cow is a 2D action game that plays like a blood-drunk cartoon. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, blood-drunk cartoon. Well, it looks like a crazy platformer. With some somewhat odd mechanics, but mostly it seems like it's Super Meat Boy with shooting and platforming too. When is this game coming out, PC Gamer? Surely you wouldn't write an article about a game that has no release date and we don't know what consoles it's on. That you would never do that, would you, PC Gamer? Let's see. The final sentence is basically I'm saying it's better than it looks and it doesn't look half bad to begin with. And it'll be out later this year according to Monsters, which I assume is the company that's making it. Oh, what a shock. PC Gamer talked about a game that has no release date. Oh, this game is gonna kill me. I guess we keep doing what we're doing. So, into the legal swing of video games, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds creators sued the mobile games for copyright infringement and frying pan use. They're suing 2 games, Rules of Survival and Knives Out, both released in November last year by a Chinese developer, NetEase, and contain features that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds claims constitute copyrightable subject material. Several of these features are listed in the lawsuit, including a shrinking play area, a frying pan, and the playground phrase, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." Oh, we gotta do something. Like I literally can't do anything right now. So it seems pretty obvious that this is copyright infringement, and that's pretty much the Chinese way of doing business, is ignoring copyright completely. Although maybe that is the right way to do business too. The only problem is I think it's only to Chinese companies' advantage. If China said, for instance, that they just didn't care about copyright at all, they weren't going to respect it one bit, that would be interesting, but that's not what they do. They respect Chinese copyrights just fine. They just don't respect any foreign countries' copyrights. And we've seen many, many instances of that. So there is the other hand. You could try and argue that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has a very generic idea and concept, but the frying pan, winner winner chicken dinner, the shrinking playfield, all are concepts that they probably pioneered. Unless it would be interesting to see a company try to claim prior art and on those every single point. But we'll see what happens. We'll probably never hear. They'll just settle, while the company will go out of business mysteriously, and some other company will pop up and replace them. There's tons of PlayerUnknown Battleground rip-off games. We've got another game on Steam called Yearn Tyrant's Conquest. Y-E-A-R-N Tyrant T-Y-R-A-N-T apostrophe S. Conquest, C-O-N-Q-U-E-S-T, if you need help spelling that. It's from a company called Triple Ram Games. That's the only game they have on Steam. 15% off for $8.49. Let's see. This has... It's about 50-50 art as far as quality. It almost looks good, but looking at the backgrounds and the parts that it seems like people wouldn't pay as much attention to, it seems like they cheaped out on those. And then the foreground objects are not, like, I literally can't tell what the characters are that you play as, like, through any of the screenshots. And now I'm watching the trailer still trying to figure out. It seems like it's a bunch of monsters come and attack your town, and you try to send out little men to defeat the monsters. And I don't know, like all-time high of 3 people. It just seems like it's too expensive of a game to even give a chance to. Like, that's what it often comes down to, is so many of these games might have had a chance. It says it's an indie casual strategy game with local multiplayer. Like, I would have given that game a chance if it was closer to $3 or $4, but at $8, $9, it's too expensive to even roll the dice on. Next game we have is called Striker's Edge, which this is the only game from that developer. It's $14.99, so I can immediately say it's too expensive. It has almost exactly the same level of quality animation and almost exactly the same style of animation as the previous game, which that's certainly going to be a problem. Let's do this and this. Striker's Edge seems like you play as one of 8 unique, seems like, champions, and one or two people are standing on the left side and 1 or 2 people are standing on the right side, and you're shooting arrows at each other trying to hit each other. It's basically dodgeball. It does have an all-time peak of 94 people playing it, rated T for teen. So it seems like it's gotten a bunch of reviews and a 63 on Metacritic. I can certainly see that. Let's look at some of the 10 negative reviews it has. What else do we want to do? Let's play this. And that works now. That's fully upgraded. Let's see. Amazing concept, could have been done in a great way, but the movement feels like ice levels in a platformer. You can't change directions quickly without a bit of a slide, and the mouse movement, I assume joysticks as well, feel very off. With a tweak of the movement, I might consider a purchase. For now, however, I'm staying refunded. Let's see. The campaign is barely a story. The dialogue in the story sort of reminded me like a dubbed anime, as one of the reviews. What's this guy do? Nothing. That's what he does. He does absolutely nothing. Don't get this stupid game. It sucks. 10 out of 10 would cry again. Yeah, so if it looks like, well, people would be willing to, people have been willing to try this game for $14.99. It seems like its controls are not tight enough, and this really just looks like a dodgeball, maybe a Windjammers type clone. And a lot of people, I think, almost single-handedly because of Giant Bomb are into Windjammers, and I think maybe that's what this is. It's being published by Platius, which has published a decent amount of games on Steam. So I don't think it's like a fake game or anything. I just think it's an unpolished game, something you could skip for a better version. Let's see. If we go down to Steam's horrible recommendations for more like this, they have Duck Game, Rocket League, Towerfall Ascension, Obliteraces, Riptide GP2, BAFL, Rivals of Aethar, Distance, Jamestown, Pix the Cat, Jet Set Knights, and Lethal League. And like half of these games, nowhere close, nowhere similar to it. Let's see. There's a review from Rock Paper Shotgun. Striker's Edge is a superb medieval dodgeball game. That's not enough. Let's see. Fortnite, in contrast to PUBG just suing people and struggling to put any new content in, Fortnite's latest update brings vending machines, which is certainly an interesting concept. How are we gonna do this? I think we do that and that, and I think we're fine. So if I'm hearing correctly, the vending machines are kind of hidden. Like, so that they're not like as clearly placed as you might think, which is kind of a cool idea, that you would have to run to a weird part of a map to find just a vending machine to get a game, get a gun. We got a game on Steam called Crazy Maze, and it's has several developers listed, but I'm pretty sure that it's the only game by any of them. 20% off for $7.99. Again, rather expensive. Let's see. We'll just go and play this. Crazy Maze is an arcade game that's about getting out of the maze filled with this maze traps, is the description. Let's see how I would describe it. It's a box maze game. It looks pretty polished for a box maze game, but I mean, you frankly could be an asset flip and look like a polished box maze game. There's nothing here. It's just a little bit of a lighting effect and some colors and some 3D made boxes. It has an all-time peak of 3 people. It came out April 6th. Has 43 achievements, which is kind of high, but not crazy high. And it has 2 positive reviews. Yeah, I just don't think so. I've seen too many of these, played too many of these to fall for the idea that this will be the one that does something different. Like, I'll watch the trailer. We'll see. Like, your mouse is moving. Oh, so it's not a box puzzle game. It just looks insanely like one. It's actually a even worse idea. You have to move out of the maze with your mouse. So the cursor is the character you control, which means you have to very, very carefully I guess not hit the sides and make jumps, and yeah, it sounds like even a worse gameplay experience than what I thought. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore Crazy Maze. PC Gamer has an article about how Larian, Larian Studios skirted bankruptcy before making Divinity Original Sin. I couldn't really care less about an old game like Divinity Original Sin and how it was developed. And frankly, corporations and businesses go into bankruptcy all the time. And they come out of bankruptcy all the time. So, THQ Nordic, great examples. Like, it'll be just a small blip on the story and history of companies by the name of THQ that THQ went bankrupt, and then Nordic Games bought most of THQ's lineup and re-released it. Let's see. I should break up after this game. I think I'll break up into another recording because we're already going 30 minutes over. Next game we have on Steam is called La Camilla, a VR story. It is from a developer who has only released a Please State Your Name, a VR animated film, so I guess that's not a game. And both of these are VR, and both of these are free, so you can't beat the price. The question is this a game or is this not a game? Is it interactive? I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this, and then the turn. Well, this looks like an animated VR video, which I don't really agree with the idea of a VR story. As a five people at peak have played it at the same time. Needs, let's see, VR support. It says see the VR section support. HTC Vive and Oculus Rift and Windows Mixed Reality. It was at the Atlanta Film Festival, apparently. It said this is a 20-minute mostly cinematic VR experience with a few interactions. Okay, that's what I figured it was. I guess we have to kill this guy, don't we? So yeah, if you have a VR system, play La Camilla, a VR story. Play their other one. They're both, which the other one, Please State Your Name, a VR animated film. You'll probably have a decent experience for 20 minutes, and that'll help you justify the vast amount of money you wasted on the VR system in the first place. Let's see, Battle Cry, this, and that. Gamma Sutra has an article, taxonomy of fishing minigames. I don't particularly care too much about this, but it's somebody writing a editorial trying to break down why fishing minigames are good or bad. Generally, they're pretty bad. They're only mostly included in Japanese games because, yeah, there's a lot of fish you eat in Japan, and so it starts to make a little bit more sense then. Let's see. I've just lost. Like, they're showing fishing in Minecraft, they're showing fishing in Torchlight 2, fishing in one of the Monster Hunter games, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Stardew Valley, Fable, Black Desert Online, Ocarina of Time. Like, a lot of games that have fishing, although several of these are just kind of Zelda games and Pokemon games, I would say you probably only have fishing for historical reasons. Like, there definitely were fishing only games that came out, but they don't really come out too much these days because nobody really wants to fish. And fishing is almost your punishment activity for running out of resources, that you have to go fish and get fish to either eat or to sell for money. Alright, we're on the Americas account. We need one more victory with the, well, we need 3 more victories with the Rogue Warrior, which I could cheat that. And then I need 7 more victories with, which I could cheat that certainly too. Yeah, I guess I could cheat almost all of this. So let's switch back at the end of this recording to the Asian account and then do the combo cards we need to play there, because I can cheat everything on my main account. I can just play my secondary account, get rather quickly, get all these victories, and that would just all overlap, giving me 200 more gold to spend when the new expansion comes out. That's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned. If you're watching live, as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. When you subscribe, click that notification bell, please. If you want to support me any further than that, friend me and gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.